Commander Ben Torres walked through the clean white halls of Haven Station. The massive space station floated peacefully between 3 star systems. It was a place where different alien species came to trade and talk about peace. Ben had been stationed here for 2 years as Earth's representative. His job was to help solve problems between different groups and make sure humans were seen as friends, not enemies. The morning started like any other day. Ben was heading to his office when the emergency alarm began to sound. Red lights flashed along the corridor walls. Over the speaker system, a voice called out in the universal language that all species on the station understood. Medical emergency in Section 7. All available medical staff report immediately. Ben changed direction and ran toward Section 7. As a trained soldier and diplomat, he always responded to emergencies. When he arrived at the medical bay, he saw a crowd of different alien species gathered around the entrance. Their voices mixed together in worry and confusion. Dr. Nova, the station's chief medical officer, was a tall blue-skinned alien from the Arcturian system. She had 4 arms and large golden eyes that could see many different types of light. When she spotted Ben, she waved him over with 2 of her arms. "Commander Torres, thank goodness you are here," Dr. Nova said. Her voice was calm, but Ben could hear the worry underneath. "We have a serious situation." Ben followed Dr. Nova into the medical bay. On the main treatment table lay a young female alien unlike any he had seen before. Her skin looked like it was made of crystal, shimmering with soft blue and silver light. She was beautiful, but her crystal skin was becoming dull and gray. Her breathing was very shallow. "This is Princess Zara of the Villani Empire," Dr. Nova explained. "She arrived on a diplomatic ship 3 hours ago. She collapsed right after docking." Ben had heard of the Villani Empire. They were a peaceful but proud species that lived in the far edge of the galaxy. Their technology was based on crystal formations that grew naturally on their home planets. They rarely left their territory, so seeing one here was very unusual. "What's wrong with her?" Ben asked, moving closer to the treatment table. Dr. Nova's 4 arms moved quickly over different medical instruments. The Villani physiology is very different from most species. Their bodies need a specific mineral compound called luminite to survive. It's only found naturally in their home system. "Can't we get some?" Ben asked. Dr. Nova's golden eyes grew sad. "That's the problem. There is a trade embargo between the Villani Empire and the Galactic Trade Union. No ships can travel to their system, and no ships can leave. Princess Zara was on a secret diplomatic mission to try to end this embargo." Ben looked at the princess. Even though she was unconscious, he could see intelligence in her delicate features. Her crystal skin continued to grow more dull with each minute that passed. "How long does she have?" he asked. "Without luminite, her cellular structure will begin to break down in less than 4 hours, Dr. Nova said quietly. "I've tried every treatment I know. Nothing works. Her biology is too different from any species I've treated before." Other medical staff moved around the room, checking readings and preparing different medicines. But Ben could see the hopelessness in their movements. They were running out of options. Dr. Nova pulled up a holographic display that showed Princess Zara's body systems. "Look at this," she said, pointing with one of her arms. "Her blood chemistry is fascinating. It's not really blood like we understand it. It's more like liquid crystal that carries nutrients and energy through her body." Ben studied the display. "What would happen if she got the luminite she needs?" "Her crystal blood would recharge," Dr. Nova explained. "The minerals would restore her cellular matrix and she would recover completely. But we simply don't have any luminite on the station." Ben thought for a moment. As a military man, he was used to finding solutions to impossible problems. "What about substitutes? Is there anything else that might work?" Dr. Nova's expression changed. She looked thoughtful. "Well, there is something interesting in the scans I've been running." She pulled up a new display. I've been comparing her blood chemistry to the biological data we have for all the species on this station. The display showed dozens of different alien blood samples. Most of them were completely different colors and compositions. But then Dr. Nova highlighted one sample that looked surprisingly similar to Princess Zara's. "This is human blood," she said, looking at Ben. "Commander, your species has something very unusual. Earth's geological history is unique in this galaxy. Your planet has been through many different phases, ice ages, volcanic periods, meteor impacts. This has created trace elements in your environment that don't exist anywhere else." Ben leaned closer to the display. "What kind of trace elements?" "Microscopic mineral compounds that are absorbed into human tissue over generations of evolution," Dr. Nova explained. "These compounds are very similar to the basic components of luminite. Not exactly the same, but close enough that they might stabilize Princess Zara's condition." "You mean a human blood transfusion might save her?" Ben asked. Dr. Nova held up two of her hands in caution. "It's only a theory. I've never attempted cross-species transfusion between humans and Villani. There could be serious risks. For both the donor and the recipient." "What kind of risks?" Ben asked, though he was already making up his mind. "For Princess Zara, her body might reject the foreign blood completely. That would make her condition worse, not better. For the human donor, we don't know how Villani crystal blood properties might affect human biology if there's any backflow during the procedure." Ben looked at Princess Zara again. Her crystal skin was now more gray than blue. Her breathing had become even more shallow. Time was running out. "Doctor, if we do nothing, she dies anyway, right?" Ben said. "Yes, that's correct. And there's a chance this could save her." Dr. Nova nodded slowly. "A chance, yes. But I must warn you, Commander. The risks are completely unknown. This has never been done before. You could be putting your own life in danger." Ben rolled up his sleeve. "Then let's do it." "Commander, please think about this carefully," Dr. Nova said. "I need to make sure you understand. If something goes wrong, I might not be able to help either of you. Earth Command would not be happy if I let their representative take such a risk." Ben smiled. "Earth Command sent me here to build relationships with other species and help solve problems. This seems like exactly what I should be doing." Dr. Nova looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Very well. But we'll take every precaution possible." The next hour was filled with preparation. Dr. Nova and her team set up specialized equipment that could handle the unique properties of both human and Villani biology. They ran multiple tests on Ben's blood to make sure he was healthy and compatible. Other station personnel gathered outside the medical bay. Word had spread quickly that the human commander was attempting to save the Villani princess. Representatives from dozens of different species waited nervously for news. Ambassador Krell, a tall insect-like alien from the Zephyrian Collective, approached Dr. Nova during the preparations. "Doctor, is this wise?" Ambassador Krell asked, his compound eyes reflecting worry. "If the human dies, it could cause a diplomatic incident. If the princess dies despite his sacrifice, the Villani might blame humans for her death." Dr. Nova continued checking her equipment. "Ambassador, sometimes we must take risks to save lives. That's what medicine is about." "But what about the consequences?" Ambassador Krell insisted. "What about the political implications?" Ben, who was lying on a medical table having his arm prepared for the transfusion, spoke up. "Ambassador, sometimes the right thing to do is just the right thing to do. Politics come later." Ambassador Krell's antennae twitched nervously, but he said nothing more. Dr. Nova finished her preparations and approached Ben. "Commander, are you absolutely certain about this? Once we begin, I won't be able to stop the procedure safely." Ben looked across the room at Princess Zara. Her crystal skin was now almost completely gray. The monitors showed her life signs getting weaker. "I'm certain," he said. The transfusion procedure was unlike anything Dr. Nova had ever performed. Human blood was red and warm, flowing through simple organic tubes. The Lani crystal blood sparkled like liquid starlight, moving through crystalline pathways that looked more like tiny fiber optic cables. The medical team watched their instruments carefully as Ben's blood began flowing into Princess Zara's system. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, patches of her skin began to regain their blue shimmer. "It's working," whispered one of the medical assistants. Dr. Nova monitored both patients carefully. Ben's vital signs remained stable, though she noticed some unusual readings in his brain activity. Princess Zara's cellular structure began to strengthen as the human blood provided the trace minerals her system desperately needed. 20 minutes into the transfusion, something unexpected happened. Princess Zara's eyes opened. They were large and the color of deep ocean water, but now they seemed to glow with an inner light. She looked around the room with an expression of wonder. "Where am I?" she asked in perfect human English. Everyone in the room froze. Dr. Nova checked her translation device, but it wasn't activated. Princess Zara had spoken in flawless English without any technological assistance. "Princess, how do you know our language?" Dr. Nova asked, switching off the transfusion equipment as the procedure completed. Princess Zara sat up slowly, looking confused. "I understand all of it. Not just your words, but the meanings behind them. The emotions. It's like I can see the thoughts forming in your minds." Ben felt strange too. As he sat up on his medical table, the room looked different. He could see energy patterns flowing through the walls of the station. Electrical currents appeared as glowing streams of light. The different alien species in the room each had their own unique energy signatures that he could somehow perceive. "Doctor," Ben said slowly, "something's happening to me too. I can see things I couldn't see before." Dr. Nova immediately began running new scans on both patients. What she discovered made her 4 arms tremble with excitement. "This is incredible," she said, studying the results. "Princess Zara, your brain activity has increased by 40%. New neural pathways have formed that didn't exist before. And Commander Torres, your sensory perception has expanded into electromagnetic ranges that humans have never been able to access." Princess Zara stood up from the medical table. Her crystal skin now glowed with healthy blue and silver light, but there were new patterns in the crystal structure. Thin lines of gold ran through her skin like veins carrying liquid sunlight. "I feel different," she said, looking at her hands. "Stronger. Smarter. Like my mind has been expanded to hold more thoughts than before." Ben got up from his table and immediately noticed that he could sense the emotional states of everyone in the room. Dr. Nova's excitement, Ambassador Krell's nervousness, the medical staff's amazement, all of it was visible to him as different colored energy fields. "We need to run more tests," Dr. Nova said. "This level of biological integration between 2 completely different species should be impossible." Princess Zara walked over to Ben. When she got close to him, both of them felt a strange resonance, like 2 musical notes that harmonized perfectly together. "You saved my life," she said, looking into his eyes. "But I think we may have created something entirely new." Ben nodded. He could sense that she was right. The transfusion had done more than just save her life. It had created a biological bridge between their 2 species. "What does this mean?" he asked. Before Princess Zara could answer, the medical bay doors opened and Admiral Singh, the station commander, entered with a group of high-ranking officials from various species. News of the successful transfusion had reached the command center. "Commander Torres," Admiral Singh said, "I need a full report on what happened here." As Ben began to explain the situation, he realized that his enhanced perception allowed him to sense the true intentions of everyone in the room. Some were genuinely interested in the scientific breakthrough. Others were worried about the political implications. A few were already thinking about how this discovery might be used for their own purposes. Princess Zara stepped forward. Admiral, with your permission, I would like to contact my father, Emperor Valdris of the Villani Empire. He needs to know what has happened here. Of course, Princess, Admiral Singh said. We'll arrange secure communications immediately. As the crowd began to disperse, Dr. Nova approached Ben and Princess Zara. I want both of you to understand something important, she said quietly. What happened here today has never occurred before in recorded galactic history. Two completely different species have achieved biological compatibility and mutual enhancement. This could change everything we know about evolution and interspecies relations. Princess Zara looked at Ben. Or it could cause fear and suspicion among those who prefer to keep species separated. Ben understood what she meant. Throughout galactic history, most species have remained isolated from each other. The idea that different species could actually enhance each other through biological contact would be threatening to many governments and organizations. What do we do now? Ben asked. Dr. Nova collected her medical equipment. Now we wait and see what your governments decide to do with this information. But I suspect your lives have both changed forever. As the medical bay emptied, Ben and Princess Zara found themselves alone for the first time since the transfusion. They could both feel the connection between them, a biological and mental link that seemed to grow stronger each minute. I can sense your thoughts, Princess Zara said softly. Not all of them, but the strong emotions. Your concern for others. Your desire to help. Your curiosity about what we've become. Ben nodded. I can feel your thoughts too. Your gratitude, but also your worry about what this means for both our peoples. They stood together in the quiet medical bay, two beings from completely different worlds who had become something new and unprecedented. Neither of them knew what the future would bring, but they both understood that their decision to help each other had set in motion events that would ripple across the entire galaxy. Outside the medical bay, representatives from dozens of species were already sending urgent messages to their home worlds. The news that a human and a Villani had achieved successful biological integration would reach the far corners of the galaxy within days. Some would see it as a miracle of science and cooperation. Others would view it as a dangerous threat to the natural order. But for Ben and Princess Zara, it was simply the beginning of an adventure that would challenge everything the galaxy believed about the limits of interspecies friendship. 3 days after the transfusion, Haven Station buzzed with activity unlike anything seen before. Ships from every major galactic civilization had arrived, their representatives demanding answers about the unprecedented biological event between a human and a Villani. Princess Zara sat in the station's main conference room, her crystal skin glowing with the new golden veins that had appeared after receiving Ben's blood. Across from her, Ben studied the holographic displays that showed energy patterns only he could now perceive. Their enhanced abilities had grown stronger each day. Admiral Singh entered the room with a worried expression. Behind him walked Ambassador Thex, a stern representative from the Consortium of Pure Species. The consortium believed that different alien races should never mix their biology or cultures. Princess Zara, Commander Torres, Admiral Singh began, we need to discuss the situation. The galaxy is in an uproar over what happened here. Ambassador Thex stepped forward. His pale green skin was covered in rigid scales, and his black eyes showed no warmth. The consortium demands that both subjects be immediately transferred to our research facility for proper study. This dangerous contamination between species must be contained before it spreads. Princess Zara's crystal skin flickered with angry red light. Ben could sense her emotions clearly now, and he felt his own protective instincts rise in response. Ambassador Thex, Princess Zara said calmly, I am not a subject to be studied. I am a princess of the Villani Empire, and I am here on a diplomatic mission. Your status changed the moment you allowed alien biology to corrupt your pure genetic structure, Thex replied coldly. The consortium has laws about genetic contamination. Both you and the human must be isolated to prevent this infection from spreading to others. Ben stood up slowly. His new electromagnetic vision showed him that Thex was lying about something. The ambassador's energy signature revealed hidden fear beneath his aggressive words. "Ambassador," Ben said, "you're not really worried about contamination, are you? You're afraid of what Princess Zara and I represent." Thexa's scales shifted color slightly. "I don't know what you mean, human. You're afraid that other species might discover they can help each other in ways the consortium has never allowed," Ben continued. "You're worried that cooperation between different races might make the consortium's control unnecessary." Admiral Singh looked between them with growing concern. "Gentlemen, perhaps we should focus on the scientific aspects of this situation. Dr. Nova has been studying the changes in both patients, and her findings are remarkable." Dr. Nova entered the room carrying several data tablets. Her 4 blue arms moved quickly as she activated a large holographic display. "The biological integration between Commander Torres and Princess Zara has exceeded all my expectations," she announced. "Not only have they both gained new abilities, but they've developed a form of empathic communication that allows them to understand the emotional states of other species." She pointed to brain scans that showed unusual activity patterns. "Look at these neural pathways. Both subjects can now perceive electromagnetic frequencies, emotional resonances, and even detect deception in other beings. It's as if they've become natural translators between different forms of consciousness." Ambassador Thex stepped closer to the display. "This proves my point exactly. These unnatural abilities are a threat to the established order. What happens when other species begin demanding similar enhancements? It will lead to chaos." Princess Zara exchanged a look with Ben. Through their new connection, they both realized the same thing at the same moment. "Ambassador," Princess Zara said, "may I ask why you're really here? The consortium has never shown interest in Villani affairs before." Ben focused his enhanced senses on Thex and saw something surprising. The ambassador's energy signature showed he was connected to some kind of technological device hidden beneath his diplomatic robes. "You're not here to study us," Ben said. "You're here to make sure this discovery never spreads to other species." Admiral Singh frowned. "What are you suggesting, Commander?" Before anyone could answer, the conference room doors opened and Emperor Valdris of the Villani Empire entered. The Emperor was tall and magnificent, his crystal skin shifting through every color of the rainbow. Behind him walked Captain Ross, the commander of Earth's deep space fleet. "Father," Princess Zara said, rising to greet the Emperor. "You received my message." Emperor Valdris nodded gravely. "I came as soon as I heard what happened. And I brought reinforcements." He gestured toward Captain Ross. Earth Command was very interested to learn that one of their officers had achieved something the galaxy thought impossible. Captain Ross, a no-nonsense woman with short gray hair, stepped forward. "Commander Torres, Earth Command has reviewed Dr. Nova's reports. We're impressed by what you've accomplished here." Ambassador Thex interrupted. "Captain Ross, surely Earth Command understands the dangers of genetic contamination between species. The consortium is prepared to offer Earth significant trade advantages in exchange for your cooperation in containing this situation." Captain Ross looked at Thex with mild amusement. "Ambassador, Earth doesn't make deals that involve treating our people like laboratory specimens. And we certainly don't abandon allies who saved lives." Emperor Valdris moved to stand beside his daughter. "The Villani Empire agrees. Princess Zara acted with great courage to save both our peoples from continued isolation. We will not allow her to be imprisoned for her bravery." The tension in the room grew thick. Ben could sense that several different political forces were about to clash. But then Princess Zara stepped into the center of the group. "Stop," she said firmly. "All of you are missing the real opportunity here." Everyone turned to look at her. Her crystal skin glowed with confident blue light. "For thousands of years, different species in this galaxy have remained separate because we believed we were too different to truly understand each other," she continued. "But what Ben and I have discovered is that cooperation between species doesn't make us weaker. It makes us stronger." Ben stepped up beside her. Princess Zara is right. The abilities we've gained aren't dangerous. They're helpful. We can sense when beings are lying, understand emotional intentions, and communicate across species barriers that have existed for centuries. Dr. Nova activated a new display. In fact, I've been monitoring their interactions with other species over the past 3 days. Every diplomatic conversation they've participated in has ended with better understanding between the parties involved. The display showed recordings of Ben and Princess Zara talking with representatives from different alien races. In each case, their enhanced empathic abilities had helped resolve misunderstandings and find common ground. They've successfully mediated 3 trade disputes just by helping each side understand what the other really wanted, Dr. Nova explained. Their abilities make them perfect ambassadors between species. Captain Ross studied the recordings with interest. Commander Torres, what's your assessment? Do you believe these abilities could help solve larger diplomatic problems? Ben thought carefully before answering. His enhanced perception allowed him to sense the honest curiosity from Captain Ross, the hope from Emperor Valdris, the anger from Ambassador Thex, and the excitement from Dr. Nova. Captain, I think we could help with the kinds of conflicts that happen when different species don't understand each other, Ben said. Most galactic disputes aren't really about territory or resources. They're about fear and miscommunication. Princess Zara nodded. My father, the trade embargo that prevented Luminite from reaching our system happened because the trade union believed we were planning military expansion. But we were actually preparing to offer our crystal technology to help other species improve their medical systems. Emperor Valdris looked surprised. Daughter, how could you know that? Because I can sense the true intentions behind people's words now, Princess Zara explained. The trade union representatives were acting out of fear, not malice. If someone had been able to help them understand our real purpose, the embargo never would have happened. Ambassador Thex grew more agitated. This is exactly what the consortium fears. If species begin sharing abilities and understanding each other too well, it will disrupt the natural boundaries that have kept the galaxy stable for millennia. Ben focused his enhanced senses on Thex again and realized something important. Ambassador, the consortium isn't trying to preserve stability. You profit from conflicts between other species. Thex's scales shifted to an angry red color. That's a serious accusation, human. But it's true, isn't it? Princess Zara added. The consortium sells weapons and negotiation services to species that can't communicate effectively with each other. If species started understanding each other better, your business would disappear. Captain Ross stepped toward Thex. Ambassador, is this accusation accurate? Thex looked around the room and realized he was outnumbered. The consortium provides valuable services to the galaxy. We maintain order between chaotic alien civilizations. By keeping them separated and suspicious of each other, Ben said. But what if there was a better way? Admiral Singh, who had been listening quietly, finally spoke up. What are you proposing, Commander? Ben and Princess Zara looked at each other. Through their empathic connection, they shared the same idea. We want to create something new, Princess Zara said. An organization dedicated to helping different species understand each other better. A diplomatic corps made up of beings who can sense true intentions and emotions, Ben added. Representatives who can help resolve conflicts before they become wars. Dr. Nova's golden eyes widened with excitement. You're talking about training other beings to develop similar abilities. Creating a network of interspecies mediators. Emperor Valdris stepped forward. The Vellani Empire would support such an endeavor. Our people have suffered too long from isolation and misunderstanding. Captain Ross nodded slowly. Earth Command would be very interested in this concept. Humanity has always believed in building bridges between different peoples. Ambassador Thex made one last attempt to regain control. You're all making a terrible mistake. The galaxy has natural boundaries for good reasons. If you tear down those barriers, you'll create chaos that will destroy civilizations. Ben walked over to stand directly in front of Thex. His enhanced perception showed him exactly what the ambassador was really feeling. "Ambassador, you're not worried about chaos," Ben said calmly. "You're worried about peace. Because peace between species means the end of the consortium's power." Thex glared at Ben but said nothing more. His energy signature revealed that Ben had spoken the absolute truth. Over the following weeks, news of the proposal spread across the galaxy. The response was overwhelming. Dozens of species sent representatives to Haven Station, eager to learn more about the possibility of enhanced interspecies communication. Ben and Princess Zara worked together to establish the first Interspecies Harmony Council. They created training programs to help diplomatic volunteers from different species develop enhanced empathic abilities. While not every species could achieve the same level of biological integration that Ben and Princess Zara had experienced, many could learn to better understand emotional and mental states across species barriers. Dr. Nova led the medical research, discovering that small amounts of human blood could temporarily enhance the empathic abilities of many different alien species. She developed safe procedures that allowed volunteers to gain improved understanding without the risks of full biological integration. The first major success came when the Council helped resolve a century-old conflict between the mechanical Zorvan Collective and the energy-based Lumina Commonwealth. Previous negotiators had failed because they couldn't understand how beings made of metal could communicate with beings made of pure light. But Council mediators with enhanced perception could sense the true desires of both species and help them find common ground. Within 6 months, the Interspecies Harmony Council had successfully negotiated peace agreements in 12 different conflicts. Trade routes that had been closed for decades reopened. Scientific knowledge began flowing freely between species that had never trusted each other before. The consortium of pure species tried several times to sabotage the Council's work, but their efforts failed. Too many species had experienced the benefits of true interspecies understanding. Ambassador Thex eventually resigned his position and disappeared to the outer rim of the galaxy. The consortium itself began to lose influence as more and more species chose cooperation over separation. Ben and Princess Zara became the galaxy's most successful diplomatic team. Their unique abilities allowed them to mediate disputes that no one else could resolve. But more importantly, they proved that different species could not just coexist, but actually help each other become better than they were alone. Dr. Nova continued her research and discovered that humans possessed a unique genetic flexibility that made them ideal facilitators for interspecies cooperation. Earth became the training center for diplomatic mediators from across the galaxy. Emperor Valdris lifted the isolationist policies that had kept the Vellani Empire separate from galactic affairs. Vellani crystal technology began helping dozens of species improve their medical and communication systems. Captain Ross established the Galactic Mediation Fleet, with human officers working alongside alien partners to prevent conflicts before they could escalate into wars. 1 year after the transfusion that had saved Princess Zara's life, Ben stood on the observation deck of Haven Station looking out at the stars. The view was filled with ships from dozens of different species, all working together on joint projects that would have been impossible before the Council existed. Princess Zara joined him at the viewing window. Her crystal skin glowed with healthy blue and silver light, still marked by the golden veins that showed her connection to human biology. "Do you ever regret what we started?" she asked, though their empathic link already told her the answer. Ben smiled. "Never. When I donated my blood to save your life, I thought I was just helping one person. I never imagined it would change the entire galaxy. My father says that the greatest gifts are often the ones we give without expecting anything in return," Princess Zara said. "You gave freely, and the whole galaxy benefited." Through the viewing window, they could see construction crews from 6 different species working together to build a new wing of the station. The expansion would house the permanent headquarters of the Interspecies Harmony Council. "What's next for us?" Ben asked. Princess Zara pointed toward a distant star system. The Council received a request from the far spiral. 2 species there have been fighting for so long they've forgotten what started their war. They want our help to find peace. Ben nodded. Then that's where we go. As they prepared to leave on their next mission, both of them reflected on how much had changed. A simple act of kindness and courage had grown into a galactic movement. Humans had proven that their greatest strength wasn't in their technology or their military might, but in their willingness to help others and bring different peoples together. The blood donation that had saved one life had ultimately saved thousands more, creating a legacy of peace and cooperation that would last for generations. And at the center of it all were two beings from different worlds who had discovered that the greatest power in the galaxy was the ability to understand and care for others, no matter how different they might seem. The galaxy had learned that diversity wasn't something to fear, but something to celebrate. And humanity had found its true calling as the bridge builders and peacekeepers of the stars.